The best central relationship requires discipline to thrive when it comes to cooking with kale. It is important to treat her with respect and pair her with the best quality ingredients you are able to find, such as grass-fed beef, eggs, pasteurized hen. Just like anything truly sexy, these 50 recipes are both exciting and tasteful. Oh, hi! Welcome back to Cooking Healthy in Indian Country. I am your host, Megan Baldy. Today I'm going to be using this recipe from this book called 50 Shades of Kale. It's a great book. I found it on a business trip that I was on, and there's all kinds of recipes that have inspired me. I'm going to be cooking out of a recipe in here. It's called Open Sesame, and it's a sesame and kale type recipe. I'm going to change it up a little bit because I have some different ingredients that I'm going to add to it. So I'm really excited about this show. So what I'm going to get started for you is some eel. So this is the lamprey eel. It is an indigenous food to natives here on the in Northern California. We eat it traditionally every time this year. Our native boys, they go out and they go to the mouth of the Klamath and they hook the eel out of the ocean as it travels into the river. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a great connection to food. It's one of my favorite foods to eat, but I'm going to prepare it in a way that is very complementary to kale. So what we have is some kale. This is some kale that I got from Willow Creek Farms. I believe it is White Russian kale. And then I have some Savoy cabbage. I like Savoy cabbage. It's a little bit tender than the regular cabbage, and it's very tasty. So what I'm going to get started with today is I'm going to start cutting up the eel. And what I want to do is kind of cut it up into a bacon type size. Let's see if I can flip you. Okay, so I have my eel, and I'm just going to cut him in half, just like that. I'm going to take him and cut him up into little quarters, like so. I don't know if this is a he or she, but I know it's an eel, so. Just like that. I'm going to slice them down the middle. Okay, now these things are very slippery, so they slide all around. What you want to do is kind of wipe them down a little bit with some paper towels. Keep your paper towel right next to it. Then you just kind of cut on the side a little bit. Flay it out just like that. Same with this one. Flay it out just like that. You want it to go nice and flat so it don't curl up. Just like a little flat steak. And cut it one more time. This one we're just gonna, it's just the part of the tail, we're just gonna cut up in little rounds. Okay, so we got it cut up. I'm going to save this part. I'm going to eat it later tonight. I'm going to broil it. So I'm going to put this part away. Okay. So, what we have now is we have our little flanks sizes. I'm going to cut this guy up a little bit more. I'm going to cook it up all the way to the tail. Got some. All right. So So, hands are clean. We're gonna go over here to the stove. Now I started my pan. I got a flat pan right here. I'm going to take some sesame oil. Now I just pick up the sesame oil from the local raised food place. I'm gonna throw that on to my pan that's cooked, warming up. And you want it on real high. Now, if you have a wok, that would be good for this because it creates a good amount of heat. Be perfect for your eel. I'm gonna take my eel, take my tongs since I washed my hands. And what we wanna do is we wanna start frying it up on here. Now that I have that out of the way, what I want to do is come back over here to the kale and the Savoy cabbage. What I want to do with the Savoy is I just want to peel off some of the sides. I'm not going to use this whole thing because it's just a small recipe. So I got a few leaves of that. I want to take a few of the kale stalks and we're going to start cutting those up. What you want to do down here is I want to just basically take the Savoy, lay it down flat, take a clean knife. Don't use the knife that you cut your eels up with. Use a totally different knife, totally different cutting board because you don't want to cross-contaminate. Make sure you wash your hands in between dealing with the eel and the greens. So you just basically take your Savoy and you want to strip it up just some really nice and thin strips. Now the recipe that's Open Sesame just calls for only kale, but I'm just changing it up just a little bit because I like to do that on the show. And you can hear my eels cooking in the background. So I cut it up to the stalk. Now we have some nice little strips of Savoy. Now we're going to do some kale. We're going to take it from the stalk. Just take it off. Same way. We're going to flip our eel. Okay, so now with our kale, we're just going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to chop it up. All right, so we got a nice little pile of kale. Okay, once your eel has nice and cooked up, we want to turn off our heat and remove it from the stove. We want to begin to remove it and put it on a paper towel. This frying pan, we are going to do the exact same thing. We're going to add some sesame oil to it. Just like that. Once it heats up, we're going to add our kale and Savoy. Okay, so our pan is heated up. We're going to add our stuff. And basically you just want to stir it around. Next, we want to add into it, if you have roasted sesame seeds, add that in. But I got this from Los Bagos. It's a slug slime. It's roasted sesame blend. It has sesame, poppy, and it also has roasted garlic in it. A very great blend. I picked it up at Los Bagos. If you are in the local Arcata or Eureka area, stop by and pick one up. And we're just going to spread that on over our stuff so that it cooks together and it adds great flavor to our kale and our Savoy cabbage. All right, so we got it nice and wilted and cooked. Now, what we want to do is we want to put it on a plate. Put it on your plate. Add your eel to it. Just like that. And voila. Now, time to enjoy. So, as you can see, it is eel, Savoy, and kale all together with some sesame and poppy and roasted garlic. Very delish. If you could smell the flavor right now, I know you can see the smoke in the background, but if you could smell what I'm smelling, you would be in nutty heaven. Now, we're going to try it out. I'm going to get it all together. Now, with this dish, you're adding a good amount of protein from the eel as well as the kale. You're also adding the iron from the eel and the kale together. So them together, they bring so much great nutrition and added value to your diet. It's a good thing to use. Also with the Savoy cabbage, you're adding all those extra fiber with the kale. Great dish. I wanted to let you guys know that I got this kale from Willow Creek Farms. Mike, he always helps me out with some great produce. And also the Savoy cabbage. Again, I purchased this from Los Bagos. It's a slug slime. It's very good. And thank you to my cousin Damon, who actually provided the eel for me. Shout out to you and thank you very much. I would like to thank the people and the programs that make this possible. I'd like to thank the Klamath Trinity Resource Conservation District, the Hoopa Valley Tribe. I'd like to thank Willow Creek Farms for their great produce, Damon Cross for the eel, and I'd also like to thank you, the viewers. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel and my Facebook page, Cooking Healthy in Indian Country. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching these shows. You guys inspire me to try different things. If you want to pick up 50 Shades of Kale, I'd imagine you can find it on Amazon. It's got some great recipes in it, especially if you love kale just as much as I do. So try it out. It's a great read. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.